Hi there. This vlog is a response to a vlog that I just watched, What You Don't Know About Gaddafi. And the reason I'm responding is because what is shown in this vlog as what Gaddafi had really done for his people is not at all known by the Western world as the ones that read newspapers and watch the news on television, because all we had ever gotten to see about Gaddafi is that he's this dictator who apparently is massacring his own people and that he's evil and that he should be destroyed. When what this vlog was showing, as well as a blog written by Andrea, which I will both place in the description box so you can go and have a look, is I'm going to just read here what Andrea has written about what Gaddafi had actually created in his country for the people. So, point 1, there is no electricity bill in Libya. Electricity is free for all its citizens. There is no interest on loans. Banks in Libya are state-owned and loans are given to all its citizens as at 0% interest by law. Homes are considered a human right in Libya, and Gaddafi vowed that his parents would not get a house until everyone in Libya had a home. Gaddafi's father had died while him, his wife and his mother are still living in a tent. All newlyweds in Libya receive $60,000 dinar dollars by the government to buy their first apartment, so to help start up the family. Education and medical treatment are free in Libya. Before Gaddafi, only 25% of Libyans are literate. Today the figure is 83%. Should Libyans want to take up farming career, they would receive farming land, a farming house, equipment, seeds and livestock to kickstart their farms, all for free. If Libyans cannot find the education or medical facilities they need in Libya, the government will fund them to go abroad for it, not only free, but they get $2,300 per month accommodation and car allowance. In Libya, if a Libyan buys a car, the government subsidizes 50% of the price. The price of petrol in Libya is $0.14 per liter. Libya has no external debt and its reserves amount to 150 billion, now frozen globally. If a Libyan is unable to get employment after graduation, the state would pay the average salary of the profession as if he or she is employed until employment is found. A portion of Libyan oil sale is credited directly to the bank accounts of all Libyan citizens. So that means that the money earned within selling oil goes to the citizens of the country. A mother who gave birth to a child receives $5,000. 40 loaves of bread in Libya costs $0.15. 25% of Libyans have a university degree. Gaddafi carried out the world's largest irrigation project, known as the Great Man-Made River Project, to make water readily available throughout the desert country. So with all these points, we can actually see that what Gaddafi has created for the citizens of Libya was in fact somewhat of a heaven on earth, or at least a very nice place to live. He had been able to nationalize everything in his country and have a completely independent country with no external debt. So here we are in our Western world, having pushed this apparent dictator off his throne by calling him a dictator and by having this preset automatic reaction to the word dictator, wherein we in ourselves immediately go, oh, it's evil, he must be evil because he's a dictator, when we haven't even investigated or looked at what he's actually been able to create for the citizens of his country, which is a very nice place to live, as he made sure that each and every citizen would get what they actually need to be able to live. which comes very close to what an equal money system is presenting. Within basically the principle of creating a world where each and every person receives freely what they need to be able to actually live a decent and fulfilling life. And so obviously the question is, why is it that all of a sudden Gaddafi was being called out as an evil person and we had to basically destroy him, and now Libya is still in ruins and so far worse off than it has ever been under the care of Gaddafi? Could it be that the reason is that Gaddafi nationalized oil in his country, and that this oil was very attractive for us here in the West, who desperately need oil to be able to support and fuel our consumerism society, and thus we needed to basically go in there and take the oil from Libya through our corporations. And so within this, it's very interesting to realize and see how we really have no clue of how this world actually works. And I would in this also suggest to everyone to go and watch the documentary The Power Principle, wherein this whole point of how propaganda has been used throughout time here in the West especially to make our intervention in wars and our creation of wars in certain countries seem like the right thing to do, when never really knowing the true reason, because within our media it was always being portrayed as this benevolent action when we go and intervene in some kind of war, where we actually leave the country far worse off than it actually was before. Within never actually being straightforward and honest about our true motives in why we are intervening in a certain country, which is always concerning oil or some other kind of resource that we desperately need to fuel our personal society here in the West. So that's a very interesting documentary to watch if you want to get the reality that is really going on in this world as what we do not see within our media. And especially within this, to also see how we have been brainwashed within these words such as dictator, to immediately within ourselves react with fear, to immediately within ourselves react with this idea that, oh, a dictator is bad, it's evil, and everything a dictator does is evil and bad, and we must destroy him because it's like Hitler and everything Hitler did was bad. And so, and also with the words like communism, the red fear, it's bad, everything about communism is bad and we should just destroy it, because that's been how we have been programmed and brainwashed through the media, wherein the media has been using these words to instigate fear within the viewers, which is us. And this can be very clearly seen in the documentary The Power Principle, how America has the American propaganda and media has purposefully been playing into the fear of communism of the citizens of America to be able to have an excuse to ostracize or attack Russia or other communist nations for some kind of reason that is not actually being shared. The only thing that was being presented and promoted was this idea that communism is bad and evil and it must be destroyed, and we must implement democracy and freedom everywhere in the world, which isn't, if you have a look, an actual real reason, because what is never being showed in our media is the actual real living conditions of the human beings in the country. What we're not seeing is how people are actually living. all that we get is this idea and notion of communism is simply bad. It's just evil and it must be destroyed by whatever means necessary. And this is interesting because, I mean, it's like in this way we have learned that we shouldn't care about the actual living conditions of human beings in a country, that we shouldn't even consider living conditions, but that we should hold on to this ideal, to this word, to this kind of idealistic principle of apparently freedom as democracy, wherein we don't in any way look at the reality of things as how human beings are actually living their lives. We just think, oh, they're living in a communist country, so it must be bad. But we don't really care because we're not actually investigating the situation. We're not actually looking at how are these people really living. You know, how are these people really living their lives? Because, you know, that's how we've been brainwashed through the media, to just not really care about a being, about another being, about life on Earth, but to only wrap ourselves up in these fears, in these ideas, these words, and all these fears that we then project onto our reality, getting so completely lost within this alternate reality in our minds as total brainwashing, when never seeing what is real, never considering what is real, which is the actual living conditions of human beings here on Earth, regardless of what system they are in, regardless of whether or not it is communism or capitalism or democracy or whatever name you want to put on it. I mean, the only thing that matters is the living conditions of the beings in the country. And that's the one thing that we've always ignored. So, okay, thanks for listening, and I would suggest to go and have a look at the Equal Money website. I will place the link below. You can participate in discussions at the forum, and on the homepage you can vote on the goals of the Equal Money system. And the Equal Money system basically is a solution for the correction of life on Earth, to in fact place into action and into reality a system that actually cares for its citizens, for the human beings living in that system. So realizing that all these words of, you know, communism or capitalism or whatever, it doesn't matter. We just have to look at the practical reality, what is most practical to actually create a world wherein each and every single human being can in fact live a very decent and fulfilling life. And so, you know, because that's what we need here on Earth. And okay, so thanks for listening. Bye.